welcome to Lately Coffee with Mary. I'm so glad that you're joining me today. My 4 children are sleeping right now or resting, and so this is my time just to hang out with you. So I hope that you have coffee or tea, and I would just love to share with you what is going on in my world right now, what I am loving and what I am living and what I'm learning. And typically they're always surrounded around the same thing. So this week it is friendship, and I don't know about you, but friendship is one of those things that you kind of go in like waves of feeling like you have so many friends, and then other times you feel like you have no friends at all. And I am very familiar with this because my dad was in the Air Force, and so I moved around a lot, like every 3 years. And for my personality, it was amazing. I loved it. I loved meeting new people and getting to see new places, and so I was super excited every time that we moved until I got there and I realized that nobody knows me and they are already in groups of friends. And I would be that girl that would just be on the outside looking in at all these little groups of people that had been there for longer, that were now friends, maybe had grown up their whole lives together, or maybe had moved there the year before, but they were all close. And I would just sit and watch all these other groups of friends every day for like months, waiting until somebody would invite me to sit with them, or invite me to come to their house, or invite me to do anything with them. Because when you're the new girl, you can't just like show up and be like, hey, let's be friends. Like, can I join your group? Like, you can't invite yourself to be a part of whatever's going on. And so that was really hard, like super hard as a kid, having to wait to see when I would be friends with the people that I could see from a distance, like, wow, we would really get along. Like, I could totally see myself being friends with them. And then it just taking forever for it to actually happen. And so that was really difficult. And I remember even being in high school, which was like a really difficult time to move, and not having any friends and being new to the area. And at lunch, oh, it was the worst. So I have my lunch, and I'm like a super friendly person, but when you're new, you can't be like, hey, like, how you doing? Like, you just would be ostracized. Like, I would be made fun of or just shunned if I busted out with my normal self, because it's too much and you don't know me, so that just doesn't seem right. And so I'd have to be kind of like just like a wallflower waiting for people to kind of include me. And so those first couple weeks of school, I remember eating my lunch with my little tray on the seat in the bathroom. Like, so sad. Like, one of the lowest points in my like remembrance of high school was just sitting in a stall eating lunch, just because I didn't want to sit at a table by myself. And so I don't know where you're at, if that's ever happened to you, or if you're in a place like that right now, or maybe you're at work and you feel like you don't know anybody, or you're new to an area because you're also military and you are very acquainted with those feelings of loneliness and feeling like you just have no friends. And so I've definitely been there. And even recently, it's funny how it kind of comes in waves. Like, you'll other times feel like you have so many friends, too many friends. And so sometimes I'm the girl that's inside. So once I've lived somewhere long enough, then I start to have my friends in my little group, and you know, you just kind of go about your life and you're with your group of friends, and you start to not even realize the people that are on the outside, the people that are new, the people that have just come to maybe your church or your community or your neighborhood, and you don't even realize that they're there because you're so focused on your group of friends that you finally made and you're finally connected with them. And so I've definitely been in that place where I'm just very consumed with the people that are in my life, and I'm not aware of the other people that are right there that God's placed that I could be friends with. And so because of my life in the military, I've definitely been apt, as soon as I got out of high school and school, when it was no longer like socially inappropriate just to go up to people and start talking to them, because nobody knows anybody in college, like everybody's new. And so that's when I like finally just felt like I could be myself all the time, because I just really wanted to connect with people, and I wanted it to happen fast. I didn't want to wait 3 to 4 months before we were friends. If I could tell like pretty quickly, like we might hit it off. So I now am very quick to meet people and to make friends. And my husband always laughs, like anywhere I go, he's like, oh, did you meet your best friend? I'm like, yes, I did. I met this person at the grocery store, and I just tell him all these stories of how we're connected, and he's like, of course you did. It's just funny to my family now, because that's how I am. But I feel like I was like that as a child. I just couldn't in certain circumstances, because it'd be awkward to be the girl that's talking to everybody. And so friends for me has definitely been an ebb and flow throughout my life. And now as a mom, and a stay-at-home mom who is in her home most of the day, you can start to feel really isolated and really lonely. And I don't know if you're in that place right now, but I definitely, even me, super high extrovert, like love people, love to be around everybody. And even though I know so many people, like I know so many people and I can make friends really easily, you can still feel lonely. You can still feel like, but they're not really my friends. Like they're not really like people I could call on, you know, like they just seem like acquaintances. And so for me, friendship, just recently, I feel like God's really been like breaking it down to me, like, well, what is it that I'm looking for? You know, like what is it that I'm needing and that I'm missing? And I think that we can all look at our friends and kind of see that in any season of our life, and right now, in whatever season you're in, there's going to be different like circles or groups of friends that we all have, and we're meant to have those groups, and there's meant to be a variety of types of friends that we all have. Like none of us can be best friends with everybody as much as I want to, as much as I want to be best friends with every single person. You just can't. Like there's not enough time in the day, and there's not enough energy, and you just can't. And so God's showing me that, because I really do cast such a wide net, and I'm always wanting to include everybody, because I've been that girl on the outside. So I'm always the one that's including everybody and making sure everybody knows that they can be a part of whatever's going on. But in doing that, I end up having such a huge group of people that I can't really be close to any of them, because there's too many of them. And so then you are like sacrificing the masses for just the one or just the two that you could really go deep with. And so God intends us to have all of those types of relationships. He wants us to have the friends that you just get together and do fun things with. Like this past weekend I had a Galentine's where we just went up to my family's cabin and pampered each other and did bath bombs and sugar scrubs and curled our hair. One of the girls showed me how to curl my hair with like a flat iron, which I had never done, but it really works. It took me forever to figure it out, but it actually does work really well, and it stays for a long time. So those are the kinds of things you can learn from these people in your life that you never may get together with otherwise. And the group of girls that ended up coming were such great girls that I just would love to like spend time with. So if you're watching, I'm so glad that you're watching, because those are totally people that I want in my life and I want to spend time with. And to have events like that where you just can get together with the people that you want to get to spend time with in our busy lives. And so you have like groups of these people that are in all different levels of life, and within that group of people that you have, they could be the ones that you spend the rest of your life texting and visiting and seeing, and they could be lifelong friends, or it could be friends that you just have for a season, and they're just here to really impart something that you're needing right now in that season of your life. Or it could be the friends that you're going to walk through childhood with your kids together, or it could be a friend that you just see and then don't really see them for a while, and they come back into your life like in like waves, like you see them for a while, then you don't, then you see them for a while, then you don't. And so there's so many different types of friends. And so what I am realizing is God is like, stop trying to put them all into some kind of a box, like that they're always going to be this friend or that friend, or that you could be that friend to them, or you know, to try to control how it's all going to play out, because there's really no way to know whom any friend is going to be and what role they're going to play in your life. And so God's really been showing me just to love all of the people in my life, because that's what he says in his word, is to in John 15, he says to love each other as I have loved you. And he loved in such a sacrificial way, in such a way that everyone was treated equally, in a sense. Even the strangers that would come up to them, he would heal any person that came to him. He would love on any person that came up to him. But then he also spent time with, and different amounts of time with, different people. But he loved everyone equally. And so I think for us in our lives, and the people that we know, and the people that we're in different friend circles with, to just love them all really well and just be a good friend to them, and not worry about what level or hierarchy of friendship you're going to have with them, because only God knows. And the people that might have been your best friends, that you felt like, this is the friend I've been waiting for my whole life, and I'm so glad that they're in my life, they might move away. Like that's happened many times, or I moved away from them, or where you're just the closest person that you've ever met and your souls are just so connected, but then life happens and your lives are going in different directions, and it can feel so hurtful, and it can be devastating when you put all your eggs in that one basket of, this is my best friend of my whole life. And so I just know that God, he brings people into our lives for all different reasons, and I'm really thankful for all the different types of relationships that I've had, but I'm also just learning right now to have my eyes open to who he has right now in my life in this season. And so that's why I'm wearing this shirt that says eyes to see, just wanting to have eyes to see the people that he has placed in my life and to love them well right where they're at with no strings attached, no expectations of what type of friend they're going to be or how long we're going to be friends. I love to dream up like, oh, we're going to be friends forever and our kids are going to grow up together. And as much as I would love that to happen, that's typically not what happens. And I've had so many people come and go out of my life. And if I get so attached to any one of them, it's going to be heartbreaking when life happens and they're not there anymore. And God doesn't want us to hold on to anyone too tightly. He wants us to just have our hands open so that we can receive the blessing of friendship and also to give the blessing of friendship, but not to cling so tightly to this one friend that we miss these other ones that he's wanting to bring into our life, or that he wants to bless through a relationship that we might not have ever thought we'd have with that person. Or you just never know. That's what I'm learning, is that we just never know what God's doing and who he's bringing into our life and for what reason and for what purpose and for how long. And so to not cling so tightly to any one person, but to be open to see how God wants to use them. And so within that, God modeled for us. He modeled for us how to love friends and how to be a friend. And he loved the whole world. He loved everybody and he loved them well. But then he also had his group of 12 that he brought in closer, that he would spend more time with, that he would share his heart with, that he would be encouraged by mutually, that he would do things with and help other people with, and that he would just have around him and as an encouragement and as people that he wanted to impart things into and to receive from. And so he had those 12, but then within those 12 he also had his 3. And his 3 were his close friends, the people that he would take with him when his soul was being tortured, when he was just to the point of death, sweating and having blood come out through his sweat in the Garden of Gethsemane. I mean, he had those friends that were so close to him that they could walk through those really difficult times, those times where the rest of them couldn't understand. They couldn't fully grasp what was happening. And so there are going to be those people in our life that are going to be those ones that are so close to us, that can walk through us through the deepest of valleys. And I pray that God brings those people into your life and that you have even just one of those people in your life that can encourage you, because I know that I have needed those friends that can come alongside me, but I can't expect all of my relationships to look like that depth, to be at that level of intimacy. And it's really not healthy to try to create that with everybody in your life, because we're not meant to share everything and all of it with every single person, because the Bible tells us to seek out wise counsel. And so when we're sharing our hearts and we're pouring out different aspects of our life with acquaintances or someone from work or someone that we just kind of know, and you're sharing really deep-seated things and things that are really difficult, you're not sure what they're going to speak into that, and what they speak into that could be very detrimental to you if you receive it and you cling to it. And so that's why the Bible tells us to guard our hearts, because we have to guard our minds from when we're sharing things and we're giving our hearts to people in our minds and the things that God's speaking to us. What they're going to speak into that can really affect our heart. And so we do need to be careful about who we're sharing those things with, and that just comes from time, just being around people and recognizing how close they're to the Lord and how much you'd want to be like them, because really you become like whomever you spend time with, and that's something else in God's word, that our company can corrupt us. And so if you're not surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like, you should still be friends with those people. It's just at what level are you friends with them, and to what degree do you share your heart with them? And so God's really been helping me to understand parameters and boundaries within friendships, but to just be so real with everyone, but to a certain degree. You don't need to share your entire heart and everything that's going on with every person, because that wouldn't be wise. It's more wise to seek counsel from people that you know are walking with the Lord and that will give you good wisdom in whatever that situation is. And so I'm just thankful for those friends, but I'm also thankful for the times when I feel like I have no friends, because that really was me like a couple months ago. And I have all these people in my life, but I was like, I just don't feel like I have anyone that I can call on and anyone that would be there. And you just start questioning the friendships that you do have. And I feel like God allows us to walk through those times where we do feel completely isolated and completely alone, because he wants us to remember that it's in him alone that we can find our identity, and that we can find our worth, and that we can find our value. And when I start clinging to this group of friends or this community or this identity as being a mom or as being a daughter or as being a wife, and it's my identity, that I'm putting that above my relationship with him. And he wants me to find all of my worth and all of my value in him, because all of those things are going to be stripped away. I'm not always going to have all of those things, and it's not what gives me value. It's not what makes me who I am. And I really felt like recently when that happened, I was able to just cry to my husband and allow him to be my encourager, which is something that doesn't happen often. I'm not like a super emotional person, and I don't have like breakdowns often, but when I did, I was so thankful for my husband that was there, that could be that person in my life, and that he could be my best friend, and he knows me, and he could speak truth over me and encouragement over me. And but even him being there wasn't the person that I needed. I didn't just need my husband. I needed the Lord. I needed Jesus, and I needed to know that no matter what my life looks like, no matter how my social circles change, my relationships change just because of everybody's lives and the things that are going on in their lives, that doesn't define me. That doesn't change who he's called me to be. And I just really needed to find that solidity and that foundation within Christ alone, and not in any of those things. And so if you're in one of those places right now, I just want to pray with you, because I know it all too well of just feeling lonely and feeling like you don't have friends. And so I will pray for you now. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this sister, or maybe this brother, Lord, that may be feeling like they are alone, that they have no friends, God, that they have no one that they can count on or rely on, Lord. And I just speak just truth over them, that you are their closest friend, that you want to be their dearest friend, that is there for them no matter what, and that they can call on you, and that they can lean on you, and they can find their strength in you alone, Lord. And I pray that they wouldn't put all of their identity within relationships, Lord. And I pray that you would help me not to recognize or not to think that any of my relationships bring me identity or bring me value or worth. And I pray that you would help us just to rely on you and you alone, and that we would take whatever season we're in, whether we feel like we're surrounded by a great many friends, or if we're feeling very lonely and isolated, God, I pray that you would help us to trust in you, and that we would see you in the midst of our loneliness, that we'd see you walking beside us, see you comforting us and encouraging us. And I pray that you would bring those wonderful friends into each of these people's lives. I pray that they would find a friend that is leaning on you, that's a godly person that loves you and that can speak truth into their life. And I pray that you would help them to find those friends that will walk with them through those valleys and through those dark places, Lord. But if they don't have those friends right now in their life and they feel alone, that they would lean on you and know that you are there for them. And I just thank you for this time together, and just the encouragement that all of us can feel so lonely and isolated, and yet we aren't. We aren't as lonely and isolated as we may feel, that our feelings can deceive us. Our feelings are fleeting, and they are deceptive, and your truth and your love is the only thing that we can lean on, God. And you've told us that you love us and that you are with us, and we just cling to that truth, knowing that we can sense your presence. Even in the midst of loneliness and isolation, we can sense your presence flooding us, Lord. And I pray that this person would feel your presence, that they would sense your love for them right now. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, I'm thankful that you joined me today, and I hope that you're having a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.